What's good people, it's JayCactus, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you 5 techniques to get your kick and 808 hitting hard. So quite a lot of people have been asking me this in the comments, so this one's by request and I'm going to keep it as short as possible, so I'll get straight into it. Alright, so I'm going to start by playing you the beat, and this beat hasn't been mixed properly yet, but I thought it would be a good time to show you my process when I'm trying to get my kicks and 808s hitting hard. So I'm using a sample for this one. All the drums are from my drum pack as well.
JayCactus.
Right, so it's sounding hard, but the kick's definitely not hitting. It's not working well with the 808, so I'm going to show you a few techniques now. Alright, so the first tip that I've got for you is sound selection, and this is probably the most important part of getting your kicks and 808s to hit hard, and just to get them working well together. So right now I'm making a drill beat, and you have to think about it in the frequency spectrum. So an 808 will take up the majority of the low end. So when I'm picking a kick, I don't like my kick to have a lot of low end because it's going to clash and sound a bit muddy. So I like my kick to have that little bit of high end in the punch and then the 808 to cover the low end, and then I want them to mesh well together. So for example, I've got a hard 808 in there, and if I was going to pick a boom bap kick, which I wouldn't do, you'll see how it sounds. Just doesn't sound right at all. And then this kick, that has got some high end, which would sound nice, but if you've got headphones on, you can hear a lot of low end as well, and the low end continues. So if they're playing together, it's going to sound a bit muddy. So I'd listen with headphones. So you can hear right at the beginning, like it does have that initial punch, which is good, but because this kick has a lot of low end as well, it's sounding real muddy. So a kick that I might want to use is something like this. It just has like a nice bit of high end in it. That works a lot better. And then the same with this kick from my pack. I think I prefer this one. Alright, so the second tip that I have for you is making sure that the kick and 808 are in phase. And what that means is, if you have a look at the kick's waveform, this is basically the phase of the kick. So if I drag this into the playlist here, if the kick and the 808 are out of phase, this is what would happen. So I'm just going to make this unique and then reverse the phase. Now you can't hear anything. And that's what happens with a kick and an 808, because a kick and an 808 are kind of similar in the shape. Obviously an 808 is a bit longer and there's different tones and everything, but in general you will get some similar frequencies in the kick and 808. So what happens is they start to become out of phase and they kind of cancel each other out. So if your kick is losing that punch when it's with the 808, or if it's just losing the low end, then it probably means that they're out of phase. So what you need to do is reverse the phase like I've just done here. Literally just click reverse polarity. So let me show you that in context. So again, listen in headphones, but this is a good example, the one that I've picked. So this is just the kick and 808 playing. Doesn't sound too bad, but the kick is missing a little bit of the low end. So if I click reverse polarity, this is without. You probably have to listen in headphones, but you can hear that the low end of the kick is like completely taken out when I haven't reversed the polarity. So that meant that they were out of phase. So if you're feeling like your kick and 808 just aren't really punching together, just try reversing the polarity. So the third tip that I have for you is pretty simple, but it's just turn it up. Turn up the kick. So let me show you what I mean. So the way that the volume works in FL is the volume will start here, either here or here, and this is like the volume of the actual sample. And then from there, you can see the velocity here. So what I like to do is turn up the volume of the kick from here and the velocity, before it even gets to the mixer channel, because the mixer channel is like the last point in volume, so after all your effects and everything. So you really want to process the volume of the kick before it gets to the mixer channel. So if I just play this with the 808, I'm literally just going to bring the velocity of them all right up. And you want to run it into a soft clipper. I like the T-Rex clipper, but the Fruity Soft clipper is pretty much just the same. It's just with the T-Rex clipper, you can adjust the slope so it's not as harsh of a knee. So I could drive that a little bit more. So I'm going to turn up the volume from here. And that's really how you're going to get your kicks smacking through. So let me use Fruity Soft clipper. So you can hear it's a bit of a different tone. It's probably, there's a little bit more distortion with soft clipper I found just then. I'll show you the difference. But you could just bring the volume back down. Unless you like that distortion, it's completely up to you. Sometimes it sounds sick. And I like to have my soft clipper just on the master channel, just to keep it simple. I don't really master my beats because I usually want an artist on them, and then if an artist is going to record on it, he's going to send it to an engineer and they'll mix it and master it anyway. But if you were going to be like official with it and you wanted to mix your track to around about -6 dB and you didn't want anything clipping on the master or clipping into the master, then what I'd recommend doing is putting the soft clipper on the kick channel instead of the master. And then same thing with the volume, you can just kind of drive it into a soft clipper, and then once you've got that distorted sound that you like, that punch that you like, then you can just use the fader to adjust the final volume, because again, the fader is gonna like mess with the volume after it's been pushed into the soft clipper. The fourth tip that I've got for you is EQing. And to be honest, I don't really EQ my kicks. I design a lot of my kicks from scratch, so all the kicks that are in this drum kit, I design them from scratch, and I do EQ them at that stage. But because I've already done that process, I don't usually do it again once I'm mixing my beats, because there's no need to really do it twice. So that goes back to sound selection. You want to make sure that you're picking good sounds in the first place, just to save you doing like EQing and compression and everything. But if you do want to EQ your kicks, there's a few little tips that I can show you. I'll just use the parametric EQ. So there's a couple ways you can do it. You could use the sweep method, and the sweep method is just to pull up a frequency or pull up a notch until you find a frequency that you like. Like say if you wanted that punch around 80, you could just boost that a little bit. And then to get that meshing well with the 808, you could copy the EQ. So click here and then save preset as, and then drag that onto the 808. And then because we've boosted this in the kick, we're going to reduce it in the 808. It's only going to be a subtle difference, but that's just cutting out the space for that punch that you boosted in the kick. So usually I find that the body of the kick is around about 60 to 100 hertz, which is why I boosted around 80 before. That's where I got that punch. And then from 100 to 200 hertz, it's kind of where you get the meat of the kick. So a common frequency to boost is around about 120. And you don't want to boost it too much, just a couple dB is fine, maybe 3 dB. You could even make it a little bit wider. Obviously each kick is going to be different. And then if you have a kick with some nice high end, then obviously you could boost up here, just to kind of enhance that click if the kick's got one. And then the fifth and final technique that I'm going to show you is sidechain compression. And to be honest, I don't really sidechain my kicks anymore, just because I think it takes away the punch of the 808, but there are some cases where I think that it needs it, so I'm going to show you a couple of techniques anyway. So to sidechain the kick to the 808, you want to have the kick selected, and then right click down here on the 808, and then select sidechain to this track. And now if you go to the 808, the first method that you can do is select a fruity limiter, come down here into compression, right click on sidechain, and then select the kick. So now what happens is if I play it, nothing's happening right now because you need to bring the threshold down. So you can see that blue line coming down, and this is like how much of the 808 you want to affect basically. And then the ratio, again, if it's just in the middle here, it's 1:1, which means like there's no compression happening. So you want to bring the ratio up. And now you can see the purple section, that's like where the 808 is ducking. So sidechain compression is basically whenever the kick's hitting, the 808 is going to duck. So I don't like to do it too much. What I tend to do is I'll bring up the attack a little bit. You bring up the attack if you still want that initial transient from the 808, right? So if you still want that punch, then just increase the attack a little bit. But if it's clashing too much, then just keep the attack down. So that means as soon as the kick hits, the 808 is going to duck. So you could do it like this. If you keep the attack all the way down, bring the release down a bit, and then you can see there's less of the 808 being taken out. So around about there is okay. But as I said, I don't know if you can hear it, but I feel like it definitely takes away a bit of the punch from the 808, which is why I don't like to use this method. The other method, which I find a bit better for side chaining, is to use an EQ. So what you want to do is have an EQ on the 808, and then in the kick, the first thing you want to do is find the fundamental frequency. So you can see it where the brightest part is. So around about 47, let's just say 47 to 50 hertz. That's like the fundamental frequency of this kick. So the next thing that you're going to do is open a fruity peak controller. And then in the EQ on the 808, you're going to go to that fundamental frequency. So all I'm doing here is just dragging 0.2 down. So we'll do it around 50 hertz. And I'm going to make it quite a tight one, about there. So right click on here and then click on link to controller. And then click this drop down and select peak control, peak. And that's basically linking the EQ to this peak controller that we opened on the kick. The next thing you want to do is click this drop down and select inverted. And then in here, you're going to type 0.5 and then accept. And now you'll see every time the kick hits, the 808 is going to duck, but only in that frequency range. Right? But to me, that's way too much. So you're going to adjust the volume here. Also, make sure that mute is off. If you're not hearing the kick, then just turn off mute. So if you bring the volume down, you're just going to do it differently for each track. So about there is okay. And then I'll give you one bonus tip. So a lot of people like to make sure that their kick is in tune with the 808. So if I'm in the kick here, I can right click and select edit in audio editor. Come up here and select detect pitch regions. And now I know that my kick is hitting in F, right? And then the 808, my 808 is hitting on F sharp. So if I wanted to, I could bring up the pitch 100 cent. And that is basically going to bring it up one semitone from F to F sharp. And whenever you're EQing a kick or changing the pitch or anything, always go back to the polarity and check it, because when you mess with an EQ and change it on a kick, it's going to change the phase of the kick. So you always want to go back and double check that it's still in phase. So I hope you liked the video and I hope you took some gems from it. As you can see, there's a lot of ways to get your kick to hit hard, but for me, I literally just like to pick a good kick sample to start off with and then drive the volume into a soft clipper to get that texture and perceived loudness. But if you found the video useful, then please like it and subscribe to the channel. I'll play the full beat now so you can get the full effect once the kick's been processed, and I'll see you next time.